saying solid proof of an external explosion. Your thoughts?
Mr. Stalcup is wrong. There is no solid proof. There's no evidence whatsoever that supports his theory. He's been chasing a variety of theories for 15 years. This is just the latest. He's wrong.
How do you account for the investigators in the film, the people who worked for TWA, the pilots union, NTSB, who say that they feel that there was evidence that there was an exterior explosion?
Well, I think if you question the individual investigators carefully and ask them whether they agree that there was a missile and whether they agree that it has been covered up, they'll start to get awfully weak. For instance, Hank Hughes, the former NTSB investigator, who I know well, his major complaint is the FBI treated him poorly. And that goes under the news of dog bites mailman. The FBI treats everyone they work with poorly, and we had problems like that. But there is no evidence whatsoever. These guys cherry-pick their facts. I can point to the China Lake report on potential missile explosions. They are unambiguous and clear. Didn't happen.
Is it possible at all that any information was suppressed during the original investigation? A news release for the documentary claims the investigators featured in the film waited until retirement to come forward and were not allowed to speak to the public, that's a quote from the release, or refute the NTSB at the time of the official investigation.
It's absolutely not true. Mr. Hughes was given whistleblower protection and was called to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee. He was under complete protection. He had no constraints, and what he had to say was, the FBI didn't treat me right.
The filmmakers are submitting a petition asking for the NTSB to reopen the investigation based on what they call new evidence. Do you think that that's a legitimate request? Is there any value whatsoever, do you think, in reopening this case?
Well, they're free to, any citizen is free to ask the NTSB to look at an investigation again. The investigation is never officially closed, but they have to have new evidence. And frankly, I listened to their press conference, I've seen their movie, there's no new evidence. This is simply they don't like the interpretation or the analysis that was given to the existing evidence. That, frankly, is not enough.
What do you account for all the individuals who say they saw something heading towards the airplane?
That's a great question. And we wrestled with the eyewitness issue for a long time. Here's what we know for sure. We know precisely when the event began. The data recorder, the voice recorder stopped, the signal from the plane stopped. We know where it began, and we know precisely where it ended. And we know that in between those 2 points was somewhere around 40, 42, 43 seconds. So we know that's what happened. If someone says, and almost all the witnesses say this, I heard a sound, I looked up, and then I saw a streak of light or a firework and an explosion. Those who say they saw that saw the last 6 seconds of the event. No witness saw the first event 40 seconds